This week on FMF Unboxed, you ain't never had a friend like me. You know, because Genie, and it's a story about a genie. You get it. Okay. So for Joaquin's story, Make-A-Wish, there was no way we could feasibly pull this off within our budget. With all the different locations and costumes and props, and the fact that there's an actual genie in this story, there's no way we could have pulled this off live action. But it was a great story and we still wanted to produce it, so we had to get creative. So I decided to do this as a motion comic sort of deal. So the first step was just having a photo shoot with Efren that I could use as a starting point. Once I had all the photos I needed, I took them into Photoshop where I could begin the real work. So I have the script open right here and I'm basically translating all these into panels for the pages. Right now I'm on this paragraph right here, which is going to be its own page. So he pulled the object from the sand's grasp and began to examine it, a silver object resembling an old oil lamp. So that's the panel I'm doing right here. Here's the picture I took of Efren. And so the first thing I'm going to do is just duplicate my layer. That way I have a backup in case I screw up. I'm going to go ahead and hide the background layer. Then I'm going to go ahead and paste this picture of a desert, which I got off of Google. I'm just going to stretch that right now to a size I'm probably going to use. Throw that behind it and hide it because I don't really need it for right now. I'm going to adjust my levels, bring up my highlights, and bring up my midtones, because if this was really in the desert under the sun, you wouldn't have as much shadows and contrast. So I'm going to do that. And I'm going to add a warming filter because it is supposed to be under the desert sun. So I'm going to warm that up quite a bit. Perfect. Turn that into a clipping mask. And you'll see why in a sec. Then I'm going to take my quick selection tool and just select this area here that I don't need and turn it into a layer mask, so that way we can get like an idea here of what I'm trying to do. Now we couldn't find a black sleeveless shirt, but we did have a red sleeveless shirt. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to turn this red shirt black, which is actually pretty easy. I'm going to add a new hue saturation adjustment layer, select my reds, desaturate all my reds, and darken all my reds here. Now this also is going to affect his skin tones. So what I'll do is I'll invert the mask, grab a brush, and then just paint with white everywhere I want it visible. Okay, so now the shirt is black, well, blackish. It's going to get darker in a few minutes here. The story called for a silver lamp. We couldn't find a silver lamp, so we got a gold lamp. But it's actually pretty easy to turn it silver. I just grab silver here, put on a new layer, and just like I could have done with the shirt, I go here to color, grab a brush. I'm just going to paint this lamp silver. So there we go. Now the lamp is silver. Looks fine. And so what we're going to do is we're going to create a stamp visible layer. I'm going to go ahead and group all these together into their own groups I can show you. And it's essentially just a copy of everything that's visible at the moment. And I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that twice. This bottom layer here is going to become our color layer. So I'm going to go filter, filter gallery. And I'm going to use this effect called cutout. And what that's going to do is it's going to limit the colors available in the image here. It's almost like if you're doing a GIF. And so if I go here to 2, we can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and find a nice balance that I like. I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. Alright. So now this next layer here, this is going to be my shading. So if I go back into the filter gallery, and I go down here to sketch, I can add an effect called graphic pen. And I always keep my stroke length maximum, because if you have it too low, it's just gonna look like a bunch of dots, and that's not what I want. I want it to look like brush strokes. So by doing this here, we're going to get some shading. I can adjust the light dark balance how I like. Right there is going to be good. Change my blending mode to multiply. And now I have this shading going on, which is awesome. And then this last layer here, this is going to be my inks layer. So if I go back into the filter gallery, I can do stamp. And once again, I can adjust the light dark balance to get this where I want. I think right there will work. Again, change that to multiply. And now I got these ink outlines, and if it's a little too strong, I can grab the opacity and pull it down. Now there's some bleed through on the colors here, so I can just go back to my color layer. And clean up some of this here. Group all those together. And then on my background layer here, same deal. And there we go. I have a comic panel. I'm gonna go ahead and save this. Alright, so once I have all my panels done, it's time to arrange them on pages. I have this template here, and every rectangle is on its own layer. And what I can do is I can go ahead and resize these as I need them. Perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and grab my panels, and I'm just going to go copy merged and paste it right on top of the panel I want. And then I'm going to right click and click create clipping mask, and then that means this is only going to be visible where that layer is, which is perfect. And I'm going to go ahead and go to layer, smart objects, and convert to smart object. That way, if I need to resize this later, I can. I don't have to worry about losing any resolution. I'm going to go ahead and resize this to about where I think I'm going to need it. And adjust my crop. I think that looks okay. I can go ahead and readjust these later. And then we're going to go back to the script. And this line here, greetings to you, I'm going to go ahead and include at the end here. And so I have a little thought bar. Made already, which is literally, if I open this up here, it's just a square with a couple different strokes on it, and then I added this military texture to represent Brooks's thoughts, and then I just have the text here. So instead of this military texture, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna look for just some smoke. That'll work. Copy, delete that, paste, clipping mask, figure out how I want to arrange this. I think that looks cool. And the line was greetings to you. Resize my box. And there we go. Page is done. So once I have all my pages done, I can go ahead and bring them into After Effects, where I can use an effect called CC Page Turn to animate these pages turning. And then it's a lot of copying and pasting keyframes, duplicating layers, and I animate every single page turn first. Once I have all my page turns animated, I go ahead and pre-comp everything together, and then I animate the camera zooms from one panel to the next. Then I just do my sound mix, and we're done.
And that's how we did it, which means it's time for Q&A. This week's question comes from Huck Fogan. He wants to know, you guys put a lot of work into your videos. Why don't you get more views? That's a great question, Huck. I wish I had an answer for you. we have no clue why we don't get more views. Chad has a theory that we're blacklisted by the creepypasta community because they're insanely jealous of our immense talent. I have no idea if that's true or not, but it does make sense. Thanks for your question, Huck. If you guys have a question you want me to answer on the show, go ahead and leave it in the comments below or shoot an email to frostedminifears@gmail.com. In the meantime, like, share, favorite this video, and if you haven't already, click subscribe, because on Wednesday, it's an all-new episode of Frosted Mini Fears, and 1 week from today, I'll show you how we did it on an all-new FMF Unboxed.